Hey guys, welcome to the League of Ireland weekly show. Myself, Keith and Cian. I had a bit of a blooper there, so that's why we're still laughing a bit. What's the story, Cian? You well?
But all right, not bad.
We're finally on to it. Now, we're actually recording this, we should say, on Monday evening. It's going out Tuesday at 6 p.m. because we wanted to wait for the fixtures, didn't we, and get stuck into that. And obviously now the fixtures have been released in the Premier Division and the First Division. We'll start off with the Premier Division because it's essentially as you were from where we left off. And do you want to go through the matches in the first weekend, Cian? I have the times. But...
No, it's just like a kid at Christmas here. It's just you're looking at the same League of Ireland fixtures and you can't get over it. Or the first game kicks off with Derry and Sligo up in the Brandywell. That's at 5:45. That's going to be obviously it's the first game back and a bit of excitement about it. So I'm surprised not to see the first game back not on telly, I have to be honest. The very first one. But then again, we have an evening game. We've kind of nearly copied off the Premier League as such, where we had a couple of games a day. And I'm liking the format because obviously it's a lot of football, first of all. But hopefully now with the streaming system, be able to watch a few games and now you can actually, for the first time, like ever, you can actually, I think you'll be able to see nearly every game, which that's a huge positive, like, because there is a lot of fans. But we get on to it and we have Dundalk and Pats. So that's at 7:45 in Oriel Park on Friday the 31st, and that's live, on RTE. So that's the first game back live on the telly, and it's kind of where we left off. Pats were due to play Dundalk and Oriel on the Friday just before the lockdown, which was live on TV. So that's still there. It's not a great start for Pats, I must say. But hopefully we can give it a go. Then we move. So they've broke it down over the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And we've Shells and Waterford at 2:00 on the Saturday, which would be very good. Nice game. It's on 2:00 in the evening. Then we have Rovers and Harps at 5. So, like I says, it's kind of just going to be 2 games a day, and it's really, really good. Then we're going on to Sunday, and we've Cork v Bows, which is a big one. That's going to be a very good game. That's at 5:00 on the Sunday, and then the following Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they're just kind of filling in games. Like on the Monday, for example, Pats are playing Derry in Richmond, but that was scheduled for Paddy's weekend, I think it was, and with the weather, it
was actually scheduled for Monday as well, funnily enough.
Yeah, so you're kind of just filling in the gaps then. But no, it's great to see a full set of fixtures, and it's something that I'm looking forward to seeing now. Like, it's not that far away either, so it's positive news. And yeah, like the new format, it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to. Fans, we don't know what the crack is, whether they're gonna go in or not. I think we just need to bide our time on that. But I think it's 99.9% confirmed with the streaming service going to be put in place. So hopefully that gets put in place, and I think it'll be really, really good for the league in general. And you never know. Like, obviously you want people going to the games, but could this streaming system work? Like, I remember they tried it a couple of years ago. They tried something, I don't know what. They had some sort of thing, but it never materialised. But I was just what shook me as well was the amount of games that's on telly over the next couple. Like, obviously, I do, like, we have Dundalk and Saints on the 31st, the first day back. Then we've Derry and Rovers, which will be aired on telly. We've Rovers and Shells. We have Derry and Dundalk. We have Dundalk and Shelbourne, and as well the big one, Rovers and Bows. So, there's a lot of games on telly. as well for a lot of fans, which will help obviously with the social distancing and stuff like that. And I'd say I'd put my life on the quarter-final, semi-final, or final Spain on the telly as well, where when they come to it.
And another point as well, the Premiership over in England will be over by that stage as well.
Yeah,
pretty much, near enough anyway. So that might add. You never know. That could bring in a few new viewers and that.
It could, but I think when I've been speaking to a lot of people at matches and stuff that come over, it's the atmosphere that keeps them there, and they enjoy the atmosphere. So you don't know how it's going to work. Like you see it on Sky Sports. They're kind of covering everyone. They have fake fan noise, and I don't think we'll have the resources for that now. But they might have a group of lads outside singing. You never know. But I think it's going to be weird. It's going to be strange. It's something that like the league is in together. We've never been through this before, so every game is going to be different. Look, I've watched a couple of friendlies, Dundalk, which was brilliant, and they done a bit of commentary as well. They had the Dundalk and Derry game on the other day. I was watching that, and it's strange. Like it is like it's obviously it was behind closed doors friendly, but it was strange to watch.
What was the quality of streaming service like for that game, by the way?
I have to say,
a lot of people have been asking like about that.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good. Now, from watching it, I didn't go off once on me. Now, I enjoyed it.
Buffering or anything like that. Slow buffering.
No buffering. I went straight, and your man down the commentary. It was very well done, and like it's good to see clubs come together like that and like put a match on and then send it out to people to watch as well, which was nice. And now I think the streaming system could work. There's no doubt about it. But we just need to have the right people in charge of it, and we just need to have the right equipment. And the quality needs to be up there. People, especially, are going to be paying for it. You don't mind getting a live stream on Score Live and it goes off because you're not paying for it. But I think that's a worry for a lot of people as well. They don't want to be forking out a few quid, sitting down, going to watch the match tonight, and a buffer's like you can't have a situation like that.
So if that happens as well the first time, Cian, it'll just turn people off. People go, right, that's it, I'm out of that. I'm not going to watch the next match or the next match.
Exactly.
I won't name it, but there was a GAA county had a lot of problems with the streaming service as well. It was buffering and going on and off and for a while, and you have to get it right like immediately.
I think that's the sport as well, I think people will tune in to watch a bit of football, I think, and I honestly like even myself as a League of Ireland man, it's something I'm actually really excited about watching, because like this is stuff of dreams for me personally. Like you're going in, you're watching a match at 5:45, and then you're watching another game at 7:45, and it's really good, Well,
if you want, you can literally watch every match over the weekend if you can.
Yeah.
Like, technically, you can do that now, which is fantastic, really. Like, you know what I mean? So you think of it that way, some clubs might get fans who aren't actually fans of the club necessarily.
And then
tune in.
Which would be brilliant as well, like, because I'd tune in to watch every game. There's no doubt about it. But as well, you're gonna have every manager tuning in, watching every game, and every coach, and like the league is small enough as it is, and like everyone knows each other. But over this lockdown now, especially the streaming games, I can see a lot of games of chess going on at matches now. Especially with the streaming system, like from being a coach myself, like you're looking and you're like, I think that's another side of it that I don't like. Obviously, that can't be helped. There's games in England and like they're streaming it and everyone's watching it, but I just think that would be a good asset now to everyone to have. And like I'd be straight up, I'd be signing up for it the minute it's announced, because I think like it's something that, like, especially in lockdown, from having no football to having hopefully 2 to 3 games a day, it's brilliant to have,
It's unreal. We'll get on to the first division as well, actually, some of the fixtures there. In the first weekend, Athlone will play Wexford. Bray will play Cove, Galway will play Cabinteely, UCD will play Longford, and then their Friday nights, by the way, 7:45, and Rovers B take on Drogheda on the Sunday, 3 p.m. It's unlikely any of them will be streamed, I'm guessing.
You don't know, because it could be a package one for all. Nobody knows. And to be honest, I hope it is streamed, because the Fourth Division is really, like, it's important. We can't have the Premier Division without the Fourth Division, and like it's a very competitive league. Like, if you win 2 games, it's the exact same as the Premier Division. You win 2 games, you're fighting for promotion into them playoff spots. You lose 2 and you're over. So it is. It's a go on.
Sorry, Cian. Again, it all comes back to whether these clubs are allowed to have fans in or not, because some of these clubs probably will struggle to get 400 in ordinary times. Yeah. However, because there's been a lack of football, there might be an upsurge in some of these clubs as well. I know Galway, I think, sold out their season tickets, I believe, a week or 2
they had to stop selling them, I believe. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Which is amazing. Like, that is what you want to hear, and that's incredible. And so it's a strange one. The likes of Wexford might get an extra few hundred people than a Fairy Carrick, if possible. Like, you just don't know how it's going to work. But I suppose we're still unsure about that, because we're not sure exactly how it's going to work. But you can imagine the likes of Drogheda, Longford Town, Bray Wanderers as well, and obviously you mentioned Galway. They would have probably big crowds in the circumstances if they were allowed to come in, basically.
Yeah, look, it is. It's tough for the other sides, It's tough for the likes of Wexford and all. It's not in the city. It's not, it's out a bit, and it is. It's tough for the other clubs, especially these times. Like, Jesus, it's mad to see. It's mad times, as we spoke about a million times over. But I just think, hopefully they're streamed, because, like, whether that be 10 fans, that's 10 fans that get to watch their team play, and that might mean everything to them. Like, we're all mad fans. Like, I'm lucky enough to support Pats, who are, let's say, a decent side. Like, but you look at people and they're travelling up and down the country supporting their beloved Wexford or their UCDs or their, and you need them in the league, and I think the streaming system should be for the whole lot of the league.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what comes out. Hopefully we know soon enough, because that's a bit of information that people will want to know. But interesting about the First Division as well. I think they're going to have about 14 or 15 more games, because I think they were around behind the Premier Division, weren't they, when they started off? But it's going to be interesting, because the likes of Cabinteely have won their first 3 games. Now, they'll be thinking, if we can keep a bit of a run going together, there's a good chance we're going to get promoted here all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Over 36 games, a lot of teams might have thought Cabinteely or the likes would be up there, but mightn't have enough. But the fact that it's 18 games, the likes of them must be rubbing their hands thinking, look, we have a chance there. There's a lot of work to be done, but the likes they must be thinking they have a chance there,
They have to, they have everyone in the Fourth Division, everyone in the Premier Division has to believe. Like the likes of Cabinteely, like, I seen them play last year. Now, I know they've lost a couple of players and stuff like that, but I've been to a couple of their games last year, and I was at the playoff game against Longford, which they won on penalties, and I thought I was very, very impressed with them. Now, I thought they were a very good side, and they would offer a lot, and considering the resources they have, and like the stature of the club compared to other clubs, especially in that division, it's fantastic work done by Pat Devlin and stuff like that, just to keep the club competing, and I think a lot of people would have looked and said, "Geez, Cabinteely from the Premier Division looking in, you'd say, like, these are at the beat Longford now. That was a fluke or whatever." But I think a lot of people who watch the Fourth Division or know about the Fourth Division, it wasn't really a surprise for the likes of Cabinteely to be up there, because they played some really, really good stuff. And I remember towards the back end of the season last year as well, where we're on Cabinteely, they played Pats. And I know we won 1-0, Pats did, but like it was dangerous. Like, they had a very, very good winger, you had the likes of Marty Waters. They had some really, really good players playing for them. And it was nervy, like, we were holding on towards the end. And now I do, honestly, like you said, I think a lot of clubs now in the Fourth Division especially would be saying, because it's so tight as it is, they'd be saying, if we can win our battles on the pitch between each team, and we come out unbeaten even away from home and win at home games, we definitely stand a chance. And I'm actually really excited to see the First Division now when it returns, and that's why I'm hoping for the streaming system, because I'd love to be able to watch them, or even if they're on the same time, maybe I don't know whether it's going to be an app or something you can record them. You don't know. We have no update on it from the FAI or from whoever's going to be dealing with the stream. But honestly, the First Division is going to be really, really good.
I'm still amazed how Cabinteely managed to keep hold of Kieran Marty Waters. I think that's amazing.
He's Pat Devlin's boy.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Pat
Very
Devlin.
much so, Pat Devlin's boy. And but still, even at that, you think he could play in the Premier Division. I feel whenever I see him play, I do think he can play in the Premier Division. So at the same time, there's great loyalty there, obviously, and there's obviously a bond between himself and Pat going back as far as Bray Wanderers and that kind of thing, But they lost a few players, as you said, but they tend to add in a couple of players you've never heard of every year. And suddenly, no one knew Rob Manley. They might have heard his name, but they didn't know how good he was.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, no, it's really good to see. And that Pat's been around a long time now, and Pat knows his stuff. And I think he has the players very grounded there. I remember, I probably shouldn't speak about it, but I remember after they beat who did they beat? They beat Longford, and on the Saturday night, all the Cabinteely players were in the living room, and they were all singing and dancing, singing "We Are Going Up," and it was just, and it just shows you how together they were and how grounded they were as a team. But I'll probably get in trouble for saying that now. But no, they were really good now, and they're a good, hard working side, and I have a lot of respect for Pat and Cian, who was there now a number of years, and he was kind of the marquee signing, and he hasn't disappointed, and he has held the club in the right way, and I think he's up there for, obviously he will be a Cabinteely legend whenever.
There's a good youth setup as well, which is key there as well for the likes of Cabinteely, and obviously Devlin knows what he's doing there, and there's other people. Eddie Gormley's still there, isn't he, as well, and people within the club. So that's very important to keep them going as well, isn't it? Cian, we'll go on to the FAI Cup Draw, which was at 12 o'clock on Monday afternoon, and obviously 13 clubs got a bye. No non-league clubs, I must say, will be in. And so we only have a draw of 3 teams. Cork City play Longford Town. I'll go with that one first. We'll talk about that first. That's an interesting one in many ways because Neil Fenn was manager of Longford Town. It's definitely a banana skin, isn't it, for Cork City, that one?
Yeah, before the break, you'd say, Longford would be going down there, and there's no doubt they'd be fancying their chances because people look and see Premier Division, First Division, and that. But when you're winning games down there, you don't see yourself as a First Division club, and you're going to Cork, who probably haven't had the best of start, to be fair to say, and Longford to be, hopefully they're up there definitely with the favourites. Dara has a brilliant side there, and they're up there favourites to get promoted, and I think they'll be going there with their tails up, and they'll want to get a result. And so before lockdown, I would have nearly fancied Longford, but with the break and Cork with the 2 new signings they're probably going to have, which were on trial, they will add a serious amount of quality. So we may as well speak about them while we're on it. But the likes of Curtis Bourne, who I've actually spoke about, I think it was last week or the week before, and I just said he was one of the most underrated players in the league.
Definitely talked about him, definitely, yeah. And there he is, yeah.
To see him back in the league would be great, and I think he's the most underrated, and he will become a star man for Cork if they choose to sign him. I've no doubt about it. The other signing to be Graham Cummins. Now, I don't know what to make of this signing at all. Now, people are saying he's trolling as a centre half, and I know he's played there with Alan Reynolds at Waterford and stuff like that, but if you're signing a striker as a centre half who's played up front, let mind you, all his career, he's not a young boy, he's not But I think it's a little bit degrading for the centre half at the club.
I wonder if that's what it is, though. There, we talked about Cork City having a really, really young squad before. I wonder if he's looking at Cummins. They might not sign him, we don't know for sure. But I wonder if he's looking at Cummins and obviously Byrne as well, because he wouldn't be one of the youngest in the squad.
Yeah.
As a bit of experience to bring into that squad. Maybe that's more to it. It'd be the way I'd be looking at it if Cork were to take these two players. I see what you're saying about Cummins. Maybe it's that bit of experience he's looking at. I don't know. To add to the youth and quality they have. They obviously got Alua back and Darlene is back as well, so they're good young players as well. Who knows? I don't know what Cummins is like in the dressing room. You know yourself.
he might. You never know. He might come out. He might go on to get into the team of the season. We just don't know after lockdown. But
or maybe he would play up front as well. We don't know either. But I always seen him as a striker personally.
Yeah.
First and foremost. So
I've seen him play a few times, and I was looking at him personally when he was playing. When he came back, he looked like he was the business. Now, in fairness to him, when he came back, but he set off like a train, and he done very well. I think he actually got sent off in his first game back, I believe, was it? Or no, that was the second year he played against Pats Kevin Towner. Kevin, he elbowed Kevin Towner and he got a red card in the first day of the season. But I never really seen him as a threat, and I always looked for him in the starting lineup, especially when he went to Rovers and stuff like that. I always felt, right, he's not getting by us today. You know, now I'm not by any means putting him down or anything. Like, I think he obviously has some serious quality, but I just don't think he's fulfilled his potential since he came back at all.
No, he didn't do great at Waterford, if we're honest. It didn't work out at Waterford. And I suppose Cork City fans on the other side of it could suggest, well, if he hasn't done well at Waterford, what's to say he'll do well at Cork? Possibly. We don't know, but again, it could be the experience thing. As I say, Cork, even just to have in the squad, I don't know. He could be a help in those terms. I've no idea what his personality is like or anything like that. But all I know is that Cork have a very young side. But you were saying about before lockdown, you would have said Longford for this. Now you're kind of veering to Cork. In a couple of weeks' time, it might change again, depending on signings.
You just don't know.
These ties don't kick off now till I think it's the 10th of August and 11th of August that weekend, I believe. So I'll tell you what, we'll move on next to we'll go to Dundalk and Waterford now. Talk about a baptism of fire for Waterford.
Yeah, you just it's one of them again. You don't know. You know, with John coming in. You like, I always find it exciting when a manager comes in that hasn't managed here before. So the likes of Ian Barracloves and stuff like that, when they come back, because when they come to the league, because they offer something new. And I think there has to be, like, he's had to bring a Francis with him as well. And Francis Rocket, it was like he's like, personally for me as a coach, I know your backroom staff is everything, and like to have a player or to have a coach like Francis in the side with him, like they obviously trust each other. And like Waterford now, we spoke about them last week. We were kind of a little bit worried, but it just shows you how quick things can change. You know, we're not worried anymore, and I think John knows exactly what he's doing. He's going to bring something brand new to the league. He's going to bring something we've never seen before, hopefully. And I really do think they're in a good position again. Hopefully, he does get the backing he needs.
It'll be interesting to see what contacts he can use as well, because he's obviously going to know an awful lot of players in England.
Yeah, and
at Chesterfield, etc., etc., etc. You know,
like it's a lot. Now, whether they can afford them is another story with Waterford, with the situation they're in. But like, we've seen pictures of them training, and everyone's saying Daryl Murphy's in the back of it now. I don't have great eyesight now, but I was zooming in, and we're not being trying to start rumours, but it does look like him, in fairness. So obviously we spoke about him last week, and I think he obviously will be an asset to the club and to the side, and that marquee sign that get bums on seats mainly as well. But John is going to bring something new. So I'd say when they're going to go up to Oriel Park, from now to the end of the season, Waterford are just going to consolidate their position in the league, I would say. And I think they'll go to Oriel with their tails up and they'll give it them all, because it's a shot that if you don't take, they'll take. So I think you have to go to Oriel and you have to play. And with John going back with his former clubs, Plymouth and Oldham, Newport, stuff like that, I've watched a couple of clips and they do play. They're not 10 men behind the ball. They do play. So hopefully he brings that to Waterford with him. And I wish him the very best. And it's good to see Waterford back with a manager now. And it's good to see feedback and pictures coming out and training. And, I think the Bulls might be back now with the marquee signing. Maybe they might bring in with Daryl Murphy. He'll definitely get bums on seats. There's no doubt about it. And, yeah, they'll go to Oriel and they'll have their tails up. And, it will be a tight game. We don't know how anyone's going to come back. We don't know who's going to play well. We don't know who's going to play bad. But that's the excitement, I suppose, that we're living in, and that's what we want. We don't want it to be predictable, but I do on paper fancy Dundalk, and I can't see past them. But I honestly think Waterford will give it a go. It won't be as far fetched as people think.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. You actually watched the Dundalk and Derry game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Flores, I noticed, scored another banger as well.
Yeah.
Quite ordinary for him, wasn't it? That one.
He's just used to it, at this stage. No, it was a good game. Two sides played football, and that's what you want. You want an honest game of football. And
how fit did they look? How were they fitter than you thought they'd be in terms of mental fitness, or was it a little bit like?
There's no fans. There's no nothing, and that's before we even start. The thing has dropped 10%. 15% without the fans. So it was I know it was a training game, but it was played like a training game, and it was I was just happy to see football on the telly, to be honest with you, League of Ireland. But I'd watch Anton at this stage. But it was just it was a slow enough paced game. Now there was moments when the players zipped the ball around and they did look like their best, but I can't see Dundalk losing against Waterford and Oriel.
Now, Derry City actually had 2 trialists in that game. I think Joseph Keenan was one, and I'm not even going to pronounce the other guy. Do you want to have a go yourself?
Oh, you're all right.
did they impress you or anything?
I wasn't really looking at them in depth, I have to be honest. I was more looking at the likes of Dundalk and the players that I knew on there, see how they come back, and the likes of Connor Clifford, who I thought done okay in the game, and Derry will be okay this year. From what I've seen now, hopefully they back me up on that. But I think they were very good, and it was a tight game, which we expected. We didn't expect Dundalk to win 5 or 6 or anything like it. It being a training game. I think it was mainly for the fitness more than anything.
I think what interests me with those clubs is, will they have an advantage when we get back over some of the other clubs where they've had those extra, training sessions?
Yeah.
We'll only know when we get back, But I tell you what, we'll get on quickly to Finn Harps and Pats before we forget that one. That's a tough draw for Pats, a very tough draw for Pats up in Donegal, up in Finn Park. It's a tough place to go to. It's not an easy one, is it?
It's not easy. Nobody wants to play up on Finn Harps. Never mind the Monday night. Never mind the Monday night. Nobody wants to play up on Harps. I wouldn't say it's an awful place to go for away teams to play. Nobody likes going up there. I certainly wouldn't like to be going up there and playing them in a latter stage of the cup or the latter stages of the league, because Ollie, we actually spoke about Ollie before, and he's brilliant. What he does up there, and Harps. You have to say they will fancy themselves at home. There's no I think anyone at home will fancy themselves in any game, but I think they obviously will have they've had a good side. He's recruited some good players. Hopefully he holds on to all them now for Ollie's sake, and I think
it appears that they are keen, and that could be an advantage to them too. That looks like they have a settled enough squad, Finn Harps, whereas other squads we're not really too sure in that sense, but they're also a very hard-working team, as we know as well, and they're tough. Ollie seems to always have teams that are tough mentally and physically, for that matter, as well.
Yeah.
So, the only good thing is maybe for Pats, the pitch might be in good condition.
Yeah, I know. Pats will go up there, and on paper, let's be real, Pats will fancy themselves, and there's no reason Stephen won't be going up there in the team bus looking for nothing but a win up there, and like we have, in fairness, we've won up there the last 2 times we've been up there, so we'd like to keep that going. I think we play well up there now. We have done in recent years, and Stephen's that first game was up there actually last year. But I thought when I seen the draw, I'm looking at it and like just draw us into round 2. That's being honest. I was like, just get us into round 2. But the more I was looking, the more I was looking at Rovers going through, Bowls going through, I was like, okay, give us a round 1 game if you want, and then how to like I'm delighted now. With no disrespect to Harps, I'm delighted we didn't face a Dundalk or anything away from home. Like, you know, Harps and Pats, it's going to be a very even game. I think it could be it would definitely be 1-on-1 goal. There's no doubt. But
I can call it now. I'd go for a draw and a replay. I presume there's going to be replays, is there? Or is there actually?
I'm not sure. I can't say that in replays.
I'd say it could go to extra time and penalties, actually, couldn't it?
Yeah, we'll get home at all hours. But don't do that to me. But I think no, it's going to be. I think that without being biased, I think that's the tightest game of the lot. Out of the 3, that's the one I'm looking at, and with it being on a Monday as well. We'll see how we get on, because obviously I presume we'll be playing the Friday, so it's going to be hard on the players. Like looking at the fixtures, even Pats. While we're speaking about Pats, like we're playing on the 31st, and then we're playing again on the Monday against Derby. So.
And I was just talking about that earlier, Cian, about Dundalk and Derry. We'll throw Bows and Rovers in this as well. Will they have an advantage because they've had more, they've been back sooner? And Pats, for example, are thrown straight into Dundalk away and Derry home. So it's going to be a test, not just of ability. It could be a test of that side of it as well. Of physical.
We spoke about it last week, and I was saying, like, it's match fitness and normal fitness is different. Dundalk's fitness over the last 2 years has just been unmatchable. So, like, there's no even I wouldn't even think of using that as an excuse, because that, like, without disrespecting any Pats players or Pats fans or the club in general, I just think Dundalk are on a totally another level fitness wise, and for the whole league in general. I don't think anyone's coming close to them, and you're hoping with the likes of Rovers now, they are coming close to Dundalk. You're hoping with Stephen or Pats, will he come close with his levels? Like, he's come in and he's set up some serious levels of performance, and his expectancy is high, which is what you need. But like, personally, I think Dundalk are the fittest team in the league. But
here's what to play devil's advocate a little bit. If you were Pats, now obviously you wouldn't say this, in public or whatever, if you're a part of the squad or if you're a manager or whatever, would you be tempted to put more of a target on the Derry game at home than the one at Dundalk?
I can't. No, like, as a, like, speaking myself, like, I wouldn't, as a player, not a hope would I roll over in the Pat shirt. And I think Stephen has a hard-working group there. And there's no doubt every time they step on that pitch, they want to win that game. And I honestly, I can't see that being an issue. Obviously, we're going to rotate the squad. So the squad is going to have to be rotated over these busy periods. So we are going to need every single player. But I can't see them rolling over and I don't mean rolling over as such. I know you didn't mean that.
Yeah.
What I mean is, look, I can't see them not giving 100%.
But could it be a subconscious thing? Could it be a subconscious thing rather? Like, you're not going to go to Dundalk and go, look, let's target the Derry game on Monday. We all know that.
Course. Yeah, no.
I just wonder, in the back of their minds, I just wonder, will it be there? You don't know. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell.
I think, personally, a lot of players will go up there thinking, right, they've played the amount of times, the same amount of games as us now. Yeah. We're going into this and we're going to give it a right go. And in fairness, we have gone up to Oriel. Now, a few results we won't speak about, but a few times we've gone up there and we have played well. Yeah. And, like I says, you can't go to Oriel and not play. If you go to Oriel and defend, they'll pick, and they will score. So I honestly think you have to go and play, and Stephen isn't a manager to sit back. Stephen is going to go, and I do think we could come out there without being boys. We could come out with something with it being the first game back.
Just don't know. You just don't know. And you're right actually about Dundalk there, because I seen him earlier on the season against Shelbourne at Tucker Park, and Shelbourne basically showed them too much respect in the first half. Before they knew it, they were 2 down. Second half, they came out, changed their approach, got a goal back, and did put Dundalk under pressure. But I think if you play the way they did in the first half in that match, you kind of regret it. At least if you go at Dundalk, or attempt to go at Dundalk, I should say, because it mightn't work out. You've nothing to lose. You've thrown everything at it. If you defend, they'll score eventually. And if they score once, they might score twice. And it's hard to change the momentum after that. So you're right. I think that's the best way to approach Dundalk. It's difficult regardless, so you might as well give it a go, I think.
That's the way I say it. Like, Pats, realistically, you'd love to say we'd be on par with Dundalk, battling out for the league. But the position we're in now, we don't need to be relying on points against Dundalk and Rovers and stuff like that. We need to target the other teams. But the way I look at it, I look at these games against Dundalk as a free hit. And I probably shouldn't look at it like that. But
it's arguably a good game to start off with as well, because there's a little bit of pressure off, I would suspect. A little bit of pressure off. You're not going to get much harder than Dundalk.
No. So. I look at them as a free hit. The way I see it is other teams aren't going up to go up to Dundalk and win. And if we can get something, we have a point on everyone else. That's the way I think of it. And I do. There's a little bit of pressure off Pats on the first day, but they won't be there. They won't be there just to show up. They'll be there and they'll put a serious performance in, I've no doubt.
100%. I'll tell you what, we'll move on to the format of the Under-19 League, because that was finalised during the week as well. Includes 5 games, 4 teams in each group. So the top 2 in each group qualify for the quarter-finals. Then we have a phase 2, which consists of 2 groups of 4, and they play each other once. And then the top team in each of those groups will contest a 2-legged final. I think I have that right.
Yeah,
have you got the gist of that?
Yeah, so they're basically just little mini leagues mainly.
Yeah. What do you think of it, first of all? Yeah, are you happy with the setup? I suppose teams get games, do they? Or
you kind of, you can't not be happy, because with the situation we were in, this is the best you're gonna get. That's an awful lot of games for the 19s. I think it's brilliant, and the likes of the big teams, so the likes of the Bows, Rovers, Pats, who are definitely up there, they'll be in it to win it right to the very end, and that under 19s league, in truth, some of the matches is fantastic. I seen the quality of football that does be played at this level. And they're very exciting. So I'd encourage everyone, if your team is playing the 19s, when you can and when it's safe to do so, get out and have a look at them. Because
when does that actually kick off, Cian? Do you know? Have we got a date for that?
I'm not 100% on it.
No, I don't see anything either. Maybe they don't have a fixed date yet when it actually kicks off. But what teams would you actually pick out? I'll tell you one interesting team is the Kerry District League are in it, which is great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're in a group with Cork and Cove and Waterford, so they try to regionalise it a little bit.
No, they have to. That had to be done. But personally, for myself, and not being biased, I think anyone in the 19s will back me up. Anyone that looks at under 19s football, I think Pats are by far really, really strong. And the quality they play, I've watched an awful lot of the 19s games over the previous seasons. Obviously, this is a new batch of players now that are coming in and stuff. But the quality has been there. A lot of these players, we had the 17s and stuff like that, and players are moving up. But I think Pats will be very strong. I think Bows will be very strong. They always have a strong side at Bows underage. So I think they'll be really, really strong, and you just don't know.
Rovers.
Yeah, that nearly goes.
UCD, I presume, should be reasonably strong, I'd imagine. Although I don't know how that impacts if UCD have guys in the senior squad, are they allowed to play in it, or it might impact on their own league as well? So UCD are a little bit funny in that sense, aren't they?
Yeah, no, look, literally anyone in that 19s can give it a right go. You know, it's a very competitive league, and like I says, any fans, when it's safe to do so, get out and watch your 19s play or your 17s, 15s, because they're really, like, you will be really impressed, and you'll see the up and coming talent coming through. And I've no doubt, like, I'll be out watching them when it's safe to do so, like, and you know, it's just, people just need to realise that we have the players here. We have the hunger from them. We have the desire. We have the ability to.
It's a good chance that a number of players from within the under-19 section league will go on and play in England at some stage. Let's be honest. Like, there will be players that play in England at some stage.
Definitely, like, there's not like, they have some serious ability in a lot of the sides, and you know, we hopefully, from a League of Ireland man's point of view, we want to keep them in our league. But if they're that good to go, that's fair enough, and nobody's ever going to stand their way.
It's funny, you mentioned Pats and Bows. I think you kind of felt they were the two favourites in your mind, were they?
Yeah.
They're both in the same group.
Oh, no, yeah, saying that.
Now, the top, I'm just looking back again. I think the top two do go through, don't they? Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So, no, sorry, I'm wrong. The top team goes through in each group, but then the next best, basically, is second place goes through. So if they're that strong, you'd fancy maybe both would go through, possibly there.
Yeah,
Are there any teams countrywide that you would say keep an eye out for?
We've always, now I haven't seen them this year because this is only from March now, this team. So I haven't seen an awful lot to really comment, but Sligo always do their business down there from previous years, and Sligo are a side that have always had a decent side. Derry as well always had a decent 19th.
Interestingly as well.
Yeah, so now, look, I don't know. I have to be honest. I don't know a lot about the 19th this season because
it's very difficult, to be honest, to know about all the teams. Let's be honest about it.
It just started in March, you see. Yeah. You know, like it started. In February, I think it was, and you're just, you know, with the lockdown and stuff, players haven't played, and you just don't know.
But it's great to have a league now, isn't it? Like that, though, an under-19 league and etc. Though in the League of Ireland. So
it's great to have, and like, it's what, as a League of Ireland man, is what you want. But then again, there's a flip side to it, and it's the underage clubs that have been there for many years, and you know, you can see their frustration, and you can see from their point of view what the story is, and you can understand that, because I can understand that. But as a League of Ireland,
you're talking about your St. Kevin's and your Belvederes and your Avondales and Cork or whatever, etc. That's what you're referring to, isn't it?
It's very hard, you know. It's very hard for the clubs because they've been so used to getting players and nurturing them right through from 8 all the way through, and now they've done a fantastic job. Every club has, but I do think it kind of has no doubt round the elite side of schoolboy football. But at the same time, it's given these players. So it's a 50-50 weight, like.
Yeah. It almost depends what side of the fence you're working on, if you understand what I mean, doesn't it, in a sense?
Yeah, of course. Like, people in the League of Ireland are going to have strong views about the League of Ireland side, how good it is. And people at the elite schoolboy side is going to have the same, their belief. So it really, like you said, it just depends on what side of the fence you're on. But personally, as a Pats fan, as a League of Ireland man, you want to see a proper Pats team right through, playing the right way. And like I says, I'm a coach myself at an elite club, and I know the pain it causes some clubs, and I know the frustration it causes. But as a League of Ireland man, that's what you need.
Brilliant, Cian. Thanks very much. We'll leave it there for this week. So guys, like, subscribe, and we'll be out 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. Sound, Cian.
Oh, what a bud. Thank you.